Wilton Speight went 13-3 as the starting quarterback for the Michigan Wolverines. He almost led them to a big victory over Ohio State in 2016, helped bring the Wolverines back to the national limelight and to the doorstep of the college football playoffs, and seemingly gave Wolverine fans hope for the future. Yet he is an almost forgotten player in the eyes of most college football fans. I totally forgot about Speight and came across him while working on a major project I have coming out in a few months. Speight dealt with injury after injury but continued to fight, never giving up. This is the story of Wilton Speight, Michigan's forgotten great quarterback. Wilton Speight was born on December 6, 1994, and grew up in Henrico County, Virginia, just outside Richmond. His father played basketball, his grandfather was a two-time All-American basketball player at NC State, and would later have his jersey retired. He has also two younger brothers, one of which earned a scholarship on the defensive line from Michigan. Speight attended the collegiate school, a Virginia powerhouse at the time that had seen the likes of Russell Wilson and Jake McGee. Between the three quarterbacks, they led the Cougars to 4 Prep League and 5 VISAA championships and earned a trophy case full of individual accolades. Speight's high school career did not have a magical start though. When he was a freshman, he would get some playing time early in the season with the game already at hand. On the second play of the drive, Speight tripped over an offensive lineman, landing inside the 1-yard line to create a 3rd and 19. But then the magic would strike. All his head coach told him to do was get space for the punter. His head coach at the time, Mark Palaio, told Bleacher Report, simple route package, all 4 receivers are running hooks. Use your reads, pick the guy, and deliver the ball. He drops back, delivers the ball to the right inside receiver right around the 11-yard range, and the defender comes up, and the receiver causes the defender to roll off, and he goes 99 yards for the touchdown. Going into his junior year, Speight was being recruited by everyone, including Virginia Tech. That was until a severe collarbone injury during the first game of his fall 2011 junior season that required a metal plate and 8 screws to repair, which forced most schools to lose interest in him. At the time, this caused Speight to drop out of the national recruiting rankings, with Palaio telling Bleacher Report that junior year, when your goals are the larger types of schools and to get that quality scholarship offer, and that happens, you kind of feel like that's all sort of crumbling in front of you. That was one of those moments where you've kind of got to pause a bit. You have to look at it and figure exactly out what happened. After the injury, Speight began to work with highly touted quarterback coach Steve Clarkson, and as a result, he threw for 2,900 yards and 32 touchdowns in 10 games in 2012. But having missed practically all of his junior year, the most crucial season for a prospect, Speight's recruitment began to look like a lost cause. Clarkson spoke on the situation saying, he hadn't had a chance at any of those exposure camps that a lot of those kids do at the recruiting stage or phase. He was just sort of getting that start, and then he got injured and missed the majority of his junior season. Due to missing his junior year, Speight decided to reclassify from the 2013 class to the 2014 class instead. Clarkson believed this was the best decision for the young quarterback, explaining that probably jump-started his recruitment as much as anything because now people are looking at him in a completely different light. With his ability and his size and his arm strength and sneaky athleticism, he really began to jump off the charts. Michigan became the first school to offer Speight, doing so on what would have been his original national signing day in 2013. When the new recruiting rankings were released, he shot up recruiting boards, even being ranked as the 7th best quarterback in the class by ESPN. During the 2013 season, he threw for 3,034 yards, 35 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions, while also rushing for another 6 touchdowns on the ground. He would receive an invite to play in the Under Armour All-American game, being named a team captain and throwing for 63 passing yards in the game. Speight was named the collegiate school's outstanding senior athlete, an award given to the senior boy who has contributed the most to the athletic program through leadership, cooperation, sportsmanship, and ability. Coming out of high school, according to ESPN, Speight was a 4-star recruit, but according to 24/7 Sports Composite, he was a 3-star recruit who was the 23rd best pro-style quarterback in the class and 448th best player. His only offer would come from Michigan, but he would receive interest from Alabama, Auburn, Boston College, and California. The reason he may have only gotten one offer was because he committed to Michigan the day after he received the offer. He chose Michigan because he was impressed by the tradition and history of the football program and also liked the university's academic prestige. He also developed a close connection with then offensive coordinator Al Borges and head coach Brady Hoke. Going to his freshman year, Speight would redshirt behind Devin Gardner and Shane Morris. With the Wolverines going 5-7 that year, it meant that Brady Hoke and crew were fired, meaning the people who brought Speight to Michigan were now gone. Enter Jim Harbaugh, whose arrival was promising for Speight's potential as a pro-style passer, but, as in the case with most coaching changes, brought no guarantees of immediate or future playing time. Speight would suffer a torn groin, causing him to miss a majority of the spring. With Jake Rudock arriving on campus, Jeff O'Korn being eligible for 2016, and Morris having a ton of experience, Speight was in danger of falling down the depth chart. Add in Speight being publicly embarrassed by Harbaugh on HBO's Real Sports, telling him to leave if he couldn't handle the pressure, he started considering leaving Michigan. He told the Detroit Free Press that first spring ball with coach, the 4-hour practices, the constant cussing out, he didn't feel worthy to be there. Should I really be here at Michigan? To fight through that together and stuff and have gone through all this team has gone through with my redshirt year and with Coach Brady Hoke here and Coach Harbaugh's first year, that's a huge part to why we're so close. He had told his family and roommates he was leaving. His dad started using their connections at NC State, while Clarkson started talking to coaches to help his young quarterback out. Instead, Speight decided to stay and passed Morris on the depth chart, sitting behind Rudock. Speight shined in injury relief during a Halloween matchup with Minnesota. He threw the game-winning 12-yard touchdown with less than 5 minutes remaining in the Wolverines' 29-26 victory. The game against Minnesota gave him a lot of confidence and showed him he wanted to be a special player in the offense. He read the offseason stories about how transfer John O'Korn was to be the expected starter and the player to beat, and then Speight beat him out in the spring. Going to the next summer, Speight went in as the #1 quarterback on the depth chart and never relinquished it, even with O'Korn now eligible. Speight went into his first start as Michigan's quarterback with not a lot of people knowing who he was. Like his high school career, this would not have a pretty beginning. His first play would be a play-action pass to his right in an attempt to find tight end Jake Butt for a short gain. He executed the fake and ensuing rollout to near perfection, but when it came to lob the pass to his All-American tight end, he didn't quite get enough air under the ball and it was picked off. Remember when I talked about Speight bouncing back from the first rough play as a freshman in high school? Well, he basically did the same thing here, engineering a 98-yard touchdown drive. Michigan won the game 63-3, and Speight completed 10 of his 13 passes for 145 yards and 3 touchdowns. He led Michigan to their first win against the top 10 opponent since 2008, beating number 8 Wisconsin on a late fourth-quarter touchdown. Speight had Michigan sitting at 9-0, but in their 14-13 loss to Iowa, he suffered a collarbone injury. He missed the Iowa game, but was able to return for the Ohio State game, throwing for 2 touchdowns, but had 2 interceptions and a critical fumble in double overtime. Speight finished the year with 2,538 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and completed 61.6% of his passes. He was also named a third-team All-Big Ten player. Speight won the quarterback competition heading into 2017 that led Michigan to a season-opening win against Florida 33-17. Though his season would be cut short a few weeks into the season, unfortunately. He would suffer a spine injury against Purdue, a situation that was not handled well on the Purdue side. Angelique S. Chengelis of the Detroit News passed along comments Thursday from the elder Speight, who stated that there was no urgency, and he also talked about the poor conditions. Wilton gets hit and didn't move for a little while, which is a parent's worst nightmare. The police took us down, but we were unable to open the door. Someone who appeared to be a member of the food staff realized this and was going to let us in. When the door opened, even in high school, I had never been in a visiting locker room that bad. It was dark, dingy, dirty. His parents, who don't like to talk to the media about their son's athletic career, said the whole thing was a train wreck. Harbaugh even called out Purdue, saying there has to be a minimum standard of care for the players. We put a lot of emphasis into the health and safety of players, but it doesn't even seem sanitary. I wish I had taken a picture of the actual table that is given to the visitors to put players on that are injured. It looked like it was from the 20s. Mainly for the health and safety of the players, a very small space for a training room had nothing in it. This is no different than a facility I saw when I was in there in 1986. And I'm not putting this on Purdue. This is league-wide. This needs to be addressed by the league. This needs to be addressed by the commissioner. Speight suffered 3 broken vertebrae, and at the time it seemed like he would be out for the rest of the season. At the end of the season, Speight decided to transfer from Michigan to play his 5th year somewhere else. After Speight announced his transfer, former 5-star recruit and Ole Miss quarterback Shea Patterson announced his commitment to Michigan. Wilton originally planned to find a home before the start of January's semester, but instead took more time while training on the West Coast. Speight and Harbaugh both confirmed that he was still considering returning to Michigan, but in the end, he decided to go to UCLA. Speight won the starting quarterback job in 2018, but would suffer a back injury in the season opener against Cincinnati, a game the Bruins would lose 26-17. Dorian Thompson-Robinson came in to replace Speight. Speight would not see any playing time until October 20th, when he came in for an injured DTR, throwing for 204 yards and 2 touchdowns in the Bruins' 31-30 win. On November 10th, Speight posted a season-high 335 yards and 2 touchdowns in a 31-28 loss to Arizona State. On November 17th, Speight completed 13 of his 22 passes for 166 yards, 1 touchdown and 1 interception, as UCLA defeated its crosstown rival, the USC Trojans, 34-27. Speight also rushed for a touchdown against the Trojans as well. Speight finished the season throwing for 1,527 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. He would go undrafted in the 2019 NFL Draft and sign with the San Francisco 49ers before letting being cut. No team has signed him since. Speight's now 28, graduated from UCLA with a degree in sociology. To be honest, I don't know how to end this story. It's kind of heartbreaking. Anytime Wilton Speight got momentum in his career, something would cut it short. Whether it was an injury in high school, the ending to the 2016 Orange Bowl, or his back injury in 2017 and 2018. At one point, his coaches proclaimed him to be a Heisman contender, but now his football career is over. Wilton Speight is the forgotten great Michigan quarterback who, through all the adversity, never gave up. What do you think? Should Wilton Speight have stayed at Michigan in 2018? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.